mathematicians. How are we all doing today? I don't know what we're going to talk about. I didn't feel like going back to quantum mechanics just yet, so maybe we'll look at some Reddit. Maybe we'll look at Archive. Go see what's happening on Archive. I don't know. I didn't feel like going back. That's where we'll start. And undoubtedly we'll be taken to very wild places from the comment section, I'm sure. Or maybe not. Or maybe not. But most likely, yes. Okay. Let's go look at some of these sections. Obviously you can see the ones I've been clicking on. I haven't clicked on category theory for a while. Let's go look there first, I guess. Quantum algebra. I should start learning K-theory? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yo, Thanos. I do have a hard copy of Karubi's book, and it's been on my mind to make some videos based on that. Yeah. I don't know what I feel like doing. Cores and localizations of infinity categories. Jesus. Wow, this is a big paper. Critical pair enumeration algorithm. Oh, actually, I should talk about this paper I saw from Twitter. Weird, this is the second person I've seen be really snarky to mathematicians about this post. Where the mathematicians believe it can only be the identity function. Yeah, joke's on you. I don't know enough. I don't know enough to believe that can only be the identity function. So where was it here? Yeah, it's this new Journal of Experimental Mathematics. You have something that's been bugging you over the years. When you get stuck on something that you think you have the ability to go through, do you start doubting your ability? Wow, that's a big question. Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, I do kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. I do, at this point in time, even having finished my PhD and completed it, it makes me think that I currently doubt my ability, which is interesting, and trying to investigate the psychology of where that comes from, because I feel like that's a loser attitude. That's a loser mentality. And I've never, well, I don't say never had that, but when I was younger, before I was like in academia, my early 20s, I was just partying all the time, and I sort of had this undeserved sense of confidence about people and everything. This confidence about I don't know, just myself, even though I did nothing but party and be a degenerate. And it's interesting now that I've accomplished a bunch of things, that now I have doubt in my ability. I'm further along the Dunning-Kruger curve, I guess. But then it's like, but I don't like the fact, that I doubt my abilities now. But then, of course, I've talked about this ad nauseum on this channel. Is the difficult thing is, it may very well be that perhaps my abilities are simply just not that great. And so there is wisdom in recognizing the boundary of your abilities and taking a different course of action based on that. But then the people who are successful are also the people who ignore those doubts, and they push through against all odds. Um, uh, and yeah, it's just very interesting. But then there's also some people, you see some people who just like keep trying to do this thing, and they're very obviously not going to like reach their goals, and then sometimes it seems sad when they just hang on and can't let go of this thing. So it's very, I don't know. It's very complicated. Um, yeah. How does one accurately assess their abilities? Yeah, that's difficult. You're constantly battling this since you're self-taught, and carried yourself through and finishing your PhD. I'm confused. You're self-taught, but you finished your PhD? Those seem like contradictory statements. So maybe you can clarify. So you have experience with getting stuck with stuff, but sometimes you just have a sense of doom. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. Yeah. Yeah, very often successful people find they aren't great in some areas and switch areas. And this is something that I think about at this crossroads in my life. So, I don't know. I don't know. Thanos said me this is a like I you're right, but I just spent 5 minutes yapping about why this is such a oversimplification, such a reductive sentence. Good morning, Casta Kachori. Do I want to see the qual question you did, or solve the one you spent 30 minutes on and didn't get? Oh, I want to see the one you spent 30 minutes on and didn't get. You just watched a girl's video quitting philosophy of doctorate in physics. OnlyFans. What a splendid decision. I mean, probably. Uh, Probably. Now she's gonna be rich, and will have and can freely explore physics all she wants, without any pressure to publish. God, maybe that's what I should do. We're a little too close to the defense date, though. No point in quitting now. I should cut that language translation part from the last stream. Definitely something one would anticipate from a channel made for higher level mathematics. What? What? I'm not sure I catch your meaning. Um, um, we all be depression maxing. Yeah. Well, hopefully not depression maxing. Vocabulary is where you feel most like an imposter. It puts you on the spot when you can't communicate your intuitions. In the words of Polly, that isn't even wrong. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely, I think about this a lot because, right now I'm teaching a discrete math course. And so, of course, there's a lot of students who are not only learning, presumably, how to write and communicate math, but then there's also the thing about they're learning how to speak math as well. And we don't talk as much about this. Like we talk a lot in class about how to read math, and we But of course, when the students they're trying to verbalize their thoughts, they're trying to say it out loud, and they often end up saying things that are not even wrong. Now, of course, if you know the right way to write it, and then you just say that out loud, I mean, that's the right way to say it out loud. But it is also sort of a different skill to be able to verbalize it on the spot, and it is an important skill to develop. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, giving talks is probably a way to do that. I think both the average and median are quite low, Leo. I think most people on OnlyFans make basically nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Thanos is speaking of the Hindi translation. Oh, I know exactly what Thanos was talking about. I had no confusion there. But what I was confused about, why I should cut this, why I should cut this from my stream, and I don't know. I mean, I'm just a human that yaps freely about math every morning. So, okay, you have things you may or may not anticipate to be from this channel, but then what's wrong with something happening that you didn't anticipate? Life is all about surprises. Sorry, brah, just yapping about stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, me too. That's what I'm here for. I'm just here to yap about random stuff. Enjoy the stream. By self-taught, you meant that you taught yourself during uni years, only going to pass exams and stuff. Wow, interesting. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? I mean, I guess it worked out for you since you ended up doing your PhD. But I think there's a lot of reasons that it's generally good to go to class. It seems like your second message got cut off, and unfortunately, sometimes YouTube just randomly deletes messages for reasons I don't understand. You spent the last 30 minutes fixing up your poor writing on a blog post. Yeah. That's only 30 minutes? Only 30 minutes? I feel like my entire mathematical life is being proud of how well I wrote something, only to look back at it a long time later and go, dear God, that was terrible. Hello. Just started Aryoskotsky. You just started grad school and measure theory is kicking your butt. Well, it's gonna do it at some point, so you may as well get your butt kicked by number theory earlier than later. Yeah. I remember for the longest time, well, it was in my old place, but I had, I made a bunch of flashcards for measure theory, and they were, for the very longest time, decorations of my bedroom wall. They were all taped to my bedroom wall. You're self-taught, and you guess you're back to self-taught again. There was a moment where you first went to a real class and got to see how your self-teaching did. And how did it do? What's the opinion on the latest Quanta article when they interview Baez about applied category theory? I don't know. I haven't read it. Quanta Baez. Bro, you said measure theory, not number theory. You've seen people dunking on it? Okay. Where did you see people dunking on it? Use contour integration. I'm gonna write that down, and maybe we'll. I don't know. We probably won't get to it today, but I do wanna know. Um, uh, show that for 0 to pi. Of a minus b cos theta is pi over square root of a squared plus b squared? Really? This was the one that cooked you? This does not seem like it should be difficult. This does not seem like it should be difficult. Contour integration? I mean, there's no poles. Am I misunderstanding this function? Oh, the a minus b cos theta is on the bottom. Is that it? I see. Okay. I see. That makes more sense. That makes way more sense. Uni in your country is not that great. So you went. So you read the books on your own. I see. That makes sense. I still think, even if you think the quality of instruction is not that great, I still think there's so many reasons why it's better to go to class, and mainly for community and networking. I mean, community and networking is just so important throughout all of mathematics. Both the relationships that you form with your peers and the relationships that you form with your professors, even if you don't think they're of high quality or whatever. That's going to be stuff that'll help you move on to the next stage and maybe even get jobs later on. I mean, there's a professor from my undergrad. I saw him at a conference earlier this year. We got to talking. He recently sent me, an update or this paper that he was talking about then. And then he also sent a link for a job in my hometown for like a mathematician. He's like, oh, by the way, I know you're graduating soon. Apparently this company is like good, high employee satisfaction, and someone else that graduated from my undergraduate institution, is happily employed there. So I thought I would just share the job link, right? Okay, the job, I hummed and hawed about applying, and then by the time I finished humming and hawing, the job link had closed. The link was still open. I applied, but then I got an email saying the position was filled already. But the point is, I mean, that very well could have been a job opportunity and a career for the rest of my life, So it's important to go to class. This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Kind of gapped the class, so self-teaching worked out. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I think for learning the math, it can still work out. But yeah, for everything I just outlined, I think it's worth going. Hello, QB. Category theory applied to climate change is a certain type of academics' wet dream. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of people interested in that possibility. Yes, and there are many subtle details in math that can easily be missed, yeah. Scott Aronson sort of dunked on it. Where? Where is the dunking? Where can I find this dunking? I would like to read the dunking. Applied category theory dunks on itself. Yeah. Um, Self-teaching is awful for imposter syndrome. I wouldn't know. Um, yeah. You realize that after missed a lot of opportunities because lack of info. Yeah. Yeah, because, yeah, there's also, you never, like, you also find out about conferences or summer research things and this and that. Like, yeah. Okay, I mean, okay. I did say career for the rest of my life. Honestly, looking at that job, it was something I don't think I would have wanted to have done it for the rest of my life. But I mean, uh, it would have been, some money. It would have been a job that allegedly has high employee satisfaction, and I probably would have used the skills I would have picked up there to launch myself into a further career. So whatever, maybe that wouldn't have been the job for the rest of my life. But uh, I mean, the point is that that could have turned out to be a great opportunity. And literally every stage in my development as a mathematician has been a result of talking to people and word of mouth things. My master's, my PhD, like every conference I've gone to. Um, my thumbnails look like my stream will be about algebraic topology. I can see that. I can see that. Um, but I'm trying to teach you to expect the unexpected. The meaning of life is just to live, bro. Damn. Well, there you go. There you go. That's what the stream is really about. Exploring crystalline beauty. Now I feel something. I remember, by the way, I remember being 11 years old and watching the movie Vanilla Sky on VHS. Not a movie meant for 11-year-olds. But I was around that age. And then I don't know why the movie inspired this in me, but I remember having some epiphany that the meaning of life was that there was no meaning of life. And I remember it was like, you know, late afternoon, early evening in summer. And I remember I got on my bike and I was just riding around the neighborhood, reeling in this epiphany. And I felt so elated and enlightened about this conclusion. Um, You're in the process of watching my Who Gives a Sheaf videos right now. Nice. Learning about sheaves just for fun. This is this is the true meaning of life. Actually, forget what Zafarb just said. Uh, this is the true meaning of life. Learning about sheaves just for fun. To be honest, this is kind of like what if we talked about climate change in terms of Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. Yeah, I think these ideas are neat, but also, yeah. How far does that series go? Haven't touched sheaf cohomology. Um, I don't know. The current place that it's at, I had been imagining I would talk about OX modules yet, which I haven't. And then, I don't know, from there I was kind of like, oh, do I talk about quasi-coherent sheaves? Do I go to cohomology? Or do I go to like topos and generalizations? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, again, this is something I've said a number of times on this channel. I'm torn in two directions. One, I agree with Leo, that some part of me looks at this and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of like you're trying to. Well, as we know from that the greatest video on the internet, you can put a cylindrical object into a square hole, but it seems like you know trying to put the shaped object into a different sized hole. Um, on the other hand, there's so much crazy math stuff that ends up getting applied just because someone tried some random bullshit. So, yeah, there's like two mathematicians in me. There's two wolves that live inside me. One of them is dunking on this article, and the other one is praising it for trying some random bullshit. um, skeptics about okay, look, they're even addressing the skeptics. And nobody likes us. It's not completely true, but it's a bit true. Okay. Has some wins lately. Applications are not yet as green as bias had hoped, but approaching potential. Yeah, apparently Leinster is extremely aggressive against like set theory, but whatever. Despite blah blah blah, it shows up all the time in modeling, for example, epidemiological modeling. If you're writing a model in conventional software, okay. So this is just about. I mean, this is almost more of a type theory statement, just making sure you know what types your things are, basically. All you know about sheaves is from Hartshorn. Yeah, I mean that's probably what I would learn, or sorry, that's probably what I would use for the cohomology stuff. You're doing a video on what algebra is about, and might mention sheaf cohomology there. Oh, there's one of these videos where this guy, I can't remember which math tuber it is. You know, he's got hundreds of thousands of views, but it's like the seven levels of group theory, and it doesn't go that deep. So I was thinking about making, more levels of group theory or something, but it won't have his, the same funny jokes and flashy animations as his. Wait, what's a derived functor? What is a derived functor? Are you talking about cohomology? I mean, you use cohomology to define derived functors. But what should I be praised for being like, what if we drew the heat diagram with Sonic the Hedgehog blue dashes? But is that, no, I don't think you should be praised for that. Do you think that Baez is being praised for that? That's not my takeaway from skimming this article. But categories a way of organizing structures. A few years later, mulling over categoricalization. These pictures are funny. These pictures are funny though. It's just pictures of like the environment with the same like associativity diagram behind it. It is pretty funny. Like the same exact picture appeared up above, but with a different background. Watch a lecture. Kant tells category theorists. Objects into database. Dollar amounts. Yeah. Candidates for green math. Baez told me applied category theorists don't have any purchase in climate science, partly because climate models are already sophisticated enough to function despite a lack of mathematical rigor. Okay. One of the challenges we always face in applied category theory, we can go to people and tell them your model would be better if you assembled things according to first principles. And they tell you, okay, well, how long is that going to take? Yeah, but I think that's a fair criticism, right? If we have a good enough model if we have a good enough model that's already doing the job. So like I feel like it's the onus on these people. Like I feel like the onus is in Amar. Like don't like so you show up and you tell a bunch of scientists, "Oh, your model, I'm not a climate scientist and I think your model will be better if you did it from first principles." That's not going to convince anyone. But if I don't know, Amar worked collaboratively and asked someone, "Hey, can you help me work on this?" And I feel like the move to do here is to actually is for someone to sit down and actually do it. And I guess maybe the point is that you need to convince at least one climate scientist to to spend their time on it. But maybe the onus is on the applied category theorists to make the first move here and to actually provide a model that they claim is better from first principles. Yeah, Boris, that definitely the derived functor stuff is definitely in Eisenbud, the definition of the sheaves. You've seen these applications, and so many of them really are. What if we did this in Esperanto? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But well, okay, whatever. I'm not going to repeat myself too much. But again, I have two minds about it. Sheaf cohomology is indeed the derived functor. Yeah. You went to a conference and saw something about enriched quantals or something. I don't know what those are. You can decipher anything. I assume you meant can't decipher anything, but an interesting application is that he characterizes separability axioms of a topological space. I mean, that does seem cool. You're right, Leah. My two wills reasoning does apply to anything. But I think, think about in your own work or my own work. Probably, I mean, I don't know how you work. Maybe you have the right idea how to solve a problem efficiently every single time. Like this integral that you brought up earlier. I'm guessing, because you took so long with it, I'm guessing that you began down, you took several directions that were a waste of time because it was the wrong answer, right? So, again, I guess the concern is, yeah, I wouldn't, if I was king and it was my job to, if I was king and it was my job to allocate funding, would I give the majority of the funding to the applied category theorists? No, no. Probably they would get a small portion of the funding, but let some people screw around and try some random bullshit. Um, um, no, and obviously, I don't think it's quite as I don't think it's equa stupid to drawing Sonic the Hedgehog around it. Um, but yes, I think you're also right. I think it's up to the person trying it, as you say, to say how it's also useful. Like I said, I think the onus is on this person to actually demonstrate a model, which is built from first principles, that's actually better in some measurable way. 100%, 100%. Um, but yeah. Yeah, I think so far, and I do also think you're right that maybe it's been feigning usefulness for the most part. Um, but I still think some people should screw around with it and just actually, I don't know, demonstrate something useful. A skibbity is a Rizzler in the category of endo brain rods. Okay. Gen Z funny because say word funny. I don't know. Should you try applying category theory just because it is an option? Someone should. Someone should. I don't know. I don't know if the. I mean, maybe the number of people and the amount of time that they spend doing this is maybe too much. I agree with you there. But then again, Sonic is fast. So actually, maybe more funding should go to Sonic. You're right, Leo. You're right. Frustrated that existing modeling software didn't allow experts to combine knowledge from different fields. Stocks of people, arrows showing flows. Yeah, are just classic mathematician moment. Oh, it's just. Oh, it's just. I could definitely collab with Mathemechanic. Okay. Okay. And I could. There's so many YouTube channels out there that I could collaborate with. I feel like there's no shortage of YouTube channels out there I could collaborate with. Yeah. The job of the rest of us to be forthright with what the results of this work has been. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you. Stockflow. Buys Osgood have developed a software package called Stockflow that formalizes this kind of modeling, such as how health disparities affect infection rates, and these categories can be composed into larger ones. Has yet to spread amongst epidemiologists, but Osgood teaches it to his students in hope of inoculating the next generation of modelers. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. That sounds interesting. They've actually produced something, right? They've actually produced something. So, we shall see. This blog is all about applied category theory. Ooh, Poisson distributions. I actually have to do I applied for this quant internship thing, and I have a week to do this little hour-long math test, and I guess I need to brush up on some things about like tricky problems with expected values and stuff. So it might be good for me to read. Oh, you were asking about Leo's blog. Yeah. Meanwhile, talking about safeguarding AI. Okay, does anyone, Boris, I think it was you claimed that Scott Aronson dunked on this article. But can you please show me where? Because I want to know. I want to hear the pushback. I'm sure that it's everything that's already been discussed here between me and Leo, but please let me know where you saw that. You're right, I don't have a blog. You're right, I don't have a blog. Am I embarrassed? Probably should make a blog. There's only so many hours in the day. What do you mean, what did you do? Boris, are you not listening to the questions that I'm asking you? That channel is really great, merely judging by its videos. How else? How else do you judge a YouTube channel? Oh, thanks for reposting, Leo. I guess I missed the original update. Okay. See the need here. There's a sense among applied category theorists that the approach will pay off in the long run. Many practitioners got into the field because of this. Yeah. Okay. I think. Oh no, there's a little bit more to the article. I don't think we have the math to understand such systems yet. That's the kind of mathematics I would like to develop. Da, da, da. Indeed, we might value non-humans. Yeah. Okay. Let's go look at the pushback. Probably just stuff we've already talked about. Oh, Jesus. Wow. That is most unfortunate. Sorry to hear about that. Claude cycles. Here we go. Baez is a brilliant mathematical physicist and writer. Blogging even existed. Yeah. Truly the GOAT. I just felt like the Cookie Monster would say the key. But regarding his quest for the past 15 years to use category theory to solve the climate crisis, I always felt like the Cookie Monster would, with equal justification, say that the key to understanding climate was eating more Oreos. Yeah. Oreos are vegan, apparently. Then I read this Quanta article, and I confess it failed to change my view. Yeah. Yeah. That's it? That's all he said? I wouldn't call this a dunk. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That was very anticlimactic. After all the whining and begging I did to be sent the link, that was very anticlimactic. Okay, what's going on with Leo here? Years ago. Oh, right, your axiomatization of Poisson distributions. However, through it, you did learn about mixed Poisson distributions, and here's a recounting. That's true. He did compare his 15-year quest with the Muppet eating cookies. That's true. Axioms for a family of Poisson distributions, indexed by T, denoting this probability. We have bisection, normalization, and regularity. Is smooth in T? What does smooth mean here? Like a smooth function? Fix n and view it as a function from R to R or something? I thought this would uniquely characterize Poisson distributions with rate r equals 1, indexing our distributions with period t. We know that distribution corresponding to this is the sum, as this corresponds to dividing our period into two subperiods. With the normalization and regularity axioms, I thought I could uniquely characterize this as t goes to 0 and thus determine. But you were wrong. Here's what you got, though. We write down the generating function. Bisection implies that, and we can use this fact to compute the derivative. That's g prime. Why is that g prime at 0? Why is that g prime at 0? Right, because I guess it's the... Wait, why? Minus 1. 1, because it's the sum of the probabilities, right? When you take the derivative. It's the sum of the probabilities or something, right? And then... How are you making this conclusion? You factor out gt plus... Yeah, I'm not... line 2 I'm good with. It's the passage from 2 to 3. You use L'Hopital at delta... Okay. I don't under... Why is the top... I don't understand. Why the line in 2 is of the form 0 over 0? G0Z is equal to 1? Why? Read next English? What? Read next English? Oh, I see. The lost derivation uses this fact, but why is that true? That's just a fact that we're just accepting? What? G0Z is a time period 0 Poisson distribution? Okay. But... Okay. I just need to interpret that? Like, why... Like, how does that come from this? Like, PTN... denoting the probability... Wait, XT... Hang on. What is XT? At time T. X0 is 0 with probability 1. Wait, why is that true? Why is X0 at... Why is X0 0 with probability 1? Is that just what it means to be a Poisson distribution, I guess? Okay. Okay, so I'll accept that. And then L'Hopital's rule. Right. Okay. Okay. We then solve the exponential differential equation. Why is this an exponential differential equation? I mean, that's just some constant, I guess. Right, because it's g prime equals that. Yeah, of course. Okay. Right. Let phi be the derivative at 0. We know this and this. Wait, why is that true? The derivative of g with respect to z at 1 is t? Since xt is a distribution with first moment t. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that even means. This translates to 2 equations. What does it mean to be a distribution with first moment t? Is that just is that this by that definition? And the second gives you the expectation given a probability general function. First moment is expectation. Okay. Well, why do we call it the first moment? Why don't we just call it the expectation? Okay, so we have some equations for phi. So what is phi? Well, the simplest solution is just that. Wait, what? Wait, what do you mean? Don't we already know what phi is? Phi is this. What do you mean, the simplest solution? Huh? Didn't we already define phi? What do you mean, the simplest solution? Because I guess we don't know what the PTs are supposed to be. But we get these conditions on what the G prime 0z has to be. We're solving for phi. We have axioms and phi can be something. Okay. Every moment in the stream is a K moment, Boris. There's a land and sky difference between figuring a mathematical result out by yourself and just finding it and memorizing it. Yep. True. Okay, simplest solution is this. This does yield the Poisson family. Is the probability generating function... Huh? Maybe there's a... Will I ever make a vlog? What do you... I mean... I don't know. What more of a vlog do you want? What more of a vlog do you want than this? Do any other solutions work? Yes, you can take any smooth... Wait, that doesn't make sense. Of course... You can take any smooth satisfying equations above. Well, yeah, aren't these... Isn't that what we just figured out? That it has to satisfy these solutions? So of course a solution. Oh, I guess we started off by saying if such a phi works, then it satisfies these. And you're saying the converse works as well for some reason. That's okay. Well, you said you can't read or either, Leo, so one would not expect you to write. Well, good point. Good point, Boris. And some of us still are learning to count. I know I am. I see. Any smooth function with that satisfies the axioms. That seems like that's pretty lot of possibilities then. Let's try this. What does that represent? This is basically a generating function for a rate 1 over n Poisson process, except each event in the process has weight n. Suppose we had a Poisson process for the number of people arriving at a coffee shop in a given period and say it's normalized to rate 1. We can count the number of hands arriving at the store by multiplying the output by 2. And this would correspond to this generating function. Toes arriving would be characterized by that. Bold of you to assume we all have the same number of hands and toes. Still haven't heard back from 8 PhD applications. Are you cooked? No, not necessarily. It's only mid-March. I wouldn't worry too much yet. I would start worrying soon. If in a month from now you haven't heard back from any of them, then maybe I'd worry a little more. But it's still early. It's still early. I mean, people basically get acceptances anywhere from like January 1st to mid-April, I would say, even. Um, but yeah, you have way more toes, just to make up for, to keep the average balanced. After this, read a non-abelian approach to Riemann surfaces. Well, maybe tomorrow. Fi, you should come back and suggest that tomorrow, because I gotta log off and go live my life. If you didn't start worrying a year ago, you're too late to worry. Yeah. You can't tell people to start worrying soon. I can't. I just did. I just did. How about this, Boris? Start worrying now. Start worrying now. I don't know what you should be worried about, but start worrying. Do it. If I is analytic and things converge nicely, then we can decompose this into this. Why? I'll just take your word for it, I guess, because I need to go. This expresses the mixed Poisson distribution as an infinite sum of rate blah blah blah. So this characterizes stuff? I don't know. So what's the takeaway? But what about the original task that just picks out the... Well, we can notice from the above that the solution corresponding to this Poisson distribution is the unique solution with no higher order terms other than the linear term. Is there a condition that can enforce this? It turns out yes. You can add the condition that the variance matches the expectation. Oh man, you're going to leave me with homework? Okay. Maybe tomorrow we can do this homework. One of the math departments you applied isn't even ranked. So it might be Jover if you don't get in. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes, like, people will get rejected from their safety schools, but make it into one of their reach schools, So, yeah. I don't know. It is an ever competitive world, though. This increasingly competitive world, this world of academia. So, I don't know. Life's tough. Don't worry about anything. It's pointless. If you cannot change it, then worry about it. Actually, I disagree. If you can't change it, then don't worry about it. But why worry? Okay, maybe that's what you meant to say. Maybe that's what you meant to say, Phi. Yeah, if you can change it, then then don't worry, because you can change it. If you can't change it, then you shouldn't worry, because it's written in stone. What if they reject you because you think you're too good? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that would never happen. But variance is also linear in additions of independent events. Don't be if you aren't, you can't worry. Huh? It probably makes about as much sense as what I said. which may not be at all. Okay, well, it's time for us to all go worry in the real world instead of staring at our computer screens and worrying. Uh, of course, I say that, but um, no, I hate Tim Hortons. I don't hate Tim Hortons, but I don't like Tim Hortons. I know it's a cultural icon of Canada, but I don't know why the coffee's not that good. The coffee's not that good. Um, it's just become a cultural icon, but it's just some shitty mega corporation that pumps out highly processed food, uh, and probably literally everything you can purchase to eat there is garbage for your body, like all other fast food restaurants. Um, I have very little interest in going there. I go there if I'm in a pinch, but I'm not. Therefore, I don't think. Yes, not M. Therefore, not B. Do not R, as B not R. So think about that as you write down QED.